Hola! Today we're going to be doing a review of what we've done in the pretérito so far. So, un repaso de los verbos regulares, which is a review of the regular verbs, and un repaso de los verbos con cambio de ortografía, so spelling changers, which we did back in the fall. And we're also going to add on los verbos con cambio de raíz, stem changers in the preterite. The rules for stem changers in the preterite are different from rules for stem changers in the present, and it's important that you are aware of that. So let's begin. We're going to start off with section A, which is un repaso de los verbos regulares. You need to remember que usamos el pretérito para hablar de cosas en el pasado. So we use the preterite to talk about things in the past. Y que ocurrieron una vez, that happened once. Within the next couple of months, I would say, not too terribly long after April break, probably about a month and a half from now, you're going to be learning the imperfect past tense, which is another past tense that's used for different purposes in the preterite. So it's really important that you start to get in your head that we use the preterite to talk about things that happened once. Okay, it's your most basic rule. First, we need a review of how to conjugate los verbos AR, so how we conjugate AR verbs. The first step, as always so far in your Spanish career, is quita la AR, get rid of the AR. Y añade esas terminaciones, add these endings. For yo, for a to form aste, for an él, ella, usted form o, for a nosotros form amos, for a vosotros form astes, and for an ellos, ustedes form aron. Make sure that you add the accents over the for the yo form and the o for the él, ella, usted form in your notes. Once you have this information down, pausa el video y conjuga el verbo cocinar al final de la primera página para practicar. Once you're done, unpause the video and continue on to página 2. Para conjugar los verbos er o ir en el pretérito, you need to quita la er o ir, get rid of the er or ir, and of course, añade estas terminaciones, add these endings. Y for a yo form, for a to form iste, for an él, ella, usted form yo, for a nosotros form imos, for a vosotros form istes, and for an ellos, ustedes form ieron. Note that once again, the yo form and the él, ella, usted form have an accent over the last letter. For the yo form, it's the I, and for the él, ella, usted form, it's the O. Make sure that in your notes you give that information to yourself on the appropriate letter, over the appropriate letter. Pausa el video una vez más y conjuga el verbo beber en la página 2. Once you've finished, continue on. You also need to remember that there are some verbos con cambio de ortografía, or spelling changes, that we've dealt with since about October or November, but we are revisiting them, of course, now. You need to remember that some verbs have a spelling change. Unos verbos tienen un cambio de ortografía en la forma yo del pretérito. This is in the yo form only of the preterite. It does not continue on to any other conjugations. So you need to remember that in the yo form, verbs that end with car change to que, verbs that end with gar change to ge, and verbs that end with zar change to se. And make sure once again that you add the accents on the last vowel there. You need to make sure that you write down the meanings of all of the verbs that end with car, gar, and zar that are on the bottom of página 2 and at the top of página 3. So I'm going to just go over what's on página 2 first, and I will go down and then over, and then I'll do the same on página 3. So starting on the far left-hand side. Sacar means to get. It can also mean to take in certain expressions. Buscar, to look for or to search. For a couple of gar verbs here, jugar is to play sports or games. Pagar is to pay. And for the zar verbs, comenzar and empezar both mean to begin. Moving on to página 3 now. We have the verb empacar, another car verb, which is to pack. when you hear me say empaque en todo, it's a command for that verb. And tocar, below, which means to touch or to play a musical instrument. Our last remaining gar verbs are llegar, to arrive, and apagar, to turn off or to put out. And our last zar verb is almorzar, to eat lunch. Pausa el video otra vez para conjugar los tres verbos con cambio de ortografía. Once you're ready, continue on with your last batch of spelling changes, and this information may be new to some of you. You also need to be aware that verbos que terminan con EER, R, so verbs that end with EER like leer and creer, as you see here, UIR, which is a verb like seguir, which means to follow, and huir, which means to flee, verbs with which you're not yet familiar, but which you will see in Español Trace, and oír, which means to hear, tienen un cambio en las formas él, ella, usted, y en las formas ellos, ustedes. So you have this spelling change from the I to the Y because you can't have 3 vowels in a row without there being an accent on one of the vowels. And you'll note that in the ella, usted form, yes, there is an accent on the O, but it's already there from the ending. So that accent just stays. It doesn't go away because of this. So you need to note that la letra I, the letter I, cambia a Y, changes to a Y in only those 2 forms. And as an example here, on página 3, we have creer, which is to believe. So we have yo creí, tú creíste, él, ella, y usted creyó, C-R-E-Y-O with an accent. Nosotros creímos, vosotros creísteis, and ellos, ustedes creyeron, C-R-E-Y-E-R-O-N. Finally, we're going to move on to los verbos con cambio de raíz, so stem changers in the preterite. On página 4 for sección C. For verbs that end with AR or AR, that stem change in the present, so we're talking about verbs like jugar and poder, comenzar, empezar, there's no stem change in the preterite. Verbs, however, that end with IR verbs, have a stem change in an él, ella, usted, and ellos, ustedes forms. So you need to make sure that you're aware of that. You know how we call stem changing verbs in the present tense boot verbs? Some people call these sandal verbs or slipper verbs because there's only the bottom 2 boxes. So once again, if you're someone who's very visual, as you're doing the examples, I would strongly recommend that you highlight or draw a colored box around where you see the spelling changes, the stem changes here, okay? A couple of examples for you. If a verb changes from E to IE, or from E to I en el presente, so ir a I or ir a I en el presente, it will change from E to I en el pretérito, ir a I in the preterite. And the example you have here is pedir, which is to ask for or to order. We have yo pedí, tú pediste, él, ella, usted pidió, nosotros pedimos, vosotros pedisteis, and ellos or ustedes pidieron. So once again, if you're someone who's really visual, I would recommend, you can see with my arrow here, I'm just kind of like making a silly little box around pidió and pidieron for that visual, okay? And pause the video and conjugate el verbo servir before you finish up here. If a verb changes from O to UE in the present, it will change from O to U en el pretérito. And the one verb that you need to know now is dormir, which is to sleep. So we have dormí, dormiste, durmió, dormimos, dormistes, and durmieron. Once you're certain you've got your information down accurately, complete the actividad on página 5 and go on to complete the other activities that have been assigned to you on Canvas. Gracias.